So they talk about the second revolution. Not a good thing. You want to get away from going in circles, maybe elevate and make some progress for the for the human organism would be to get more real and hook up some information that we're already looking at that would be applicable to our, like, say, our political problems. Let's talk about constitutions. First of all, to use that word correctly, to make it, again, applicable to a political arena would be ideal, and it's heading on the right track with the first lines, which says, we would like to open up for us, we the people. So, but see, the argument is that not just one people here. It's not just, okay, let me rephrase that. It's not just one quality person, or say, let's say, presence. There is, and we can argue all day about this, whether it's true or not, but it is, because there's a lot of study about it that other people are doing, and that includes me. And if you haven't come across it, then that means you're living within a 9x9 cinder block enclosure, and there's an air hole where people are throwing food at you. Otherwise, you've come across the one who is, that, let's just say, if you're an empath, they're not as sensitive as you, so that they're not as detail oriented, and you better toughen up, buttercup, or something like that. And we can understand that, but at what point are we setting aside our own faculties and the delicacy of our potential for just being what, less than that? That's where being human is an achievement that let's say that we're not all of us are born with that. See, that's what they're saying, is that, now this is another thing, and I'm just beating around this bush very cordially, and not getting into the sensitivity of the whole subject matter of the sex wars. It keeps coming up. It's going to come up. Well, here's the full moon in Aries that rules Mars. So, but anyway, getting back to trying to stay on track here without making everybody butt hurt, but just pulling from the information that we already have. It keeps kind of talking about it, but if you connect the information up, like, well, what are we saying? Essentially, how does this pan out as a science from discovering or uncovering what is out there, and is there a solution? Like, say, if there's a problem, of course there's a problem. Lots of imbalance. It's ridiculous as far as some people who, now let's get back to the more sensitive people, would say, yeah, no, that a lot of things just don't make sense if you just keep trying to think it through. A lot of people are too fearful. They don't break through and go to the other side, which I've done that so many times. It's like, ugh, wow. It's important to not operate from that point of fear that doesn't let go and say, you know what, no, this is how we turn the tables. And anyway, getting back to uncovering, like, is there two types of different people? Yeah, there's plenty of evidence that that there are. There's like, okay, there's me, who a lot of people, they still don't know that I'm a man. I'm just kidding. They still kind of bug me about, well, what are you, a transvestite or a man or something like that? And it's like, no, I am what I am. And as far as gender, I'm certainly not mistaken. You know, if you're having a problem, that's not my problem as far as I'm concerned with my situation here. Um, but that's not even at all the two different types that I am pointing at. But it can kind of rub off that way if we look at the statistical studies of psychology over the last 2 centuries. It's getting more and more obvious, like, oh no! Is that what really happened? Yes, we lost sight of just the nature of who we are and what we are and how we coexist here, perhaps, and the programming that needs to go on and who does all that. Well, I don't think it's anything mysterious aside from the organism itself and the way that it reproduces. That it's just a matter of like this kind of communication that is so vague. By the way, I know I've taken 6 minutes and a half to go nowhere, but really, for me personally, um, it's a very, very touchy subject matter, isn't it? The For women personally, I can only stick up for myself and the women's gender, and I hear like it's fascinating to hear non-narcissistic, non-insecure women. You know, these women that play with makeup and dollies and stuff, like they're dolling themselves up. I question them still. It's like, when are we going to grow up out of that? I thought that little girls kind of do that because they want to look like adults. Like they want to look like they just had sex. And all of that look is there now. Just slap it on. But then when you get to be an adult, you don't do that anymore. I was wondering, well, why are people still doing that at the age? They continue to do it. And at the age 60, they're still. Sorry. I'm terrible. I'm a comedian. I want to be funny. But really, it's kind of tough. It's like nearing level 50. I just hit level 49. I'm at level 49. And I'm not going to waste it here. It's like, by the way, I need to communicate something. You know, it's been, for me, a strange trip. Awkward. Because I'm pretty sure, like I said, babes, uh, women don't really want to have anything to do with men. I mean, they do, but not in the way of just like this one-sided yeah, let me pin myself up and have a man just go at me, you know what I mean? It's like, no. I'm looking at it as, well, how do we do this? And I'm going to close this stupid conversation up, but why is it even coming up? Well, not just this full moon, which astrologers are saying, there's not much going on with that, there's no aspect, and I'm saying, did you know that this full moon is speaking towards, because it's the closeout of a Neptunian major Mercury communication, it's pointing at the twilight and the magical creator of creation, which I'd say is Neptune, which is water. Water. Let's look at it. It's this which is going to be going into Aries. It's speaking towards that future, let alone that there's these eclipse that starts in the sign of Aries and Libra, which speaks at Mars and Venus. Excuse me, that's about men and women, and Mars rules sex, and Venus rules the pleasure derived from. And okay, so let me dust my hands of this very last story. Talking about the personal approach, what I really think is kind of, the truth, and then you kind of bring up the human out of it, but just saying, I love the joke that I guess it's originally by W.C. Fields, which is like, you don't want to know that person. That person's a rotten piece of crap. Sorry. Some people from the past, the 1900s, the entertainment, the whole fucking thing needs to be like, can we stop entertaining ourselves with so-called alcoholic fucking lost people? I didn't say any genders. But I like this joke that W.C. Field says. Um, you know, I remember the first time I had sex. It was amazing. And all I can think is, I can't wait to try this with somebody.